Good morning, guys, and happy Friday to you all. It's Goose, and welcome to STN's Stock Talk with Ricky and Goose. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys have all signed up for stocktraders.net. You know, we're one of the leading online trading communities. We got free trading rooms, we got HD trading. Like I keep mentioning to you guys, please, if you're listening to this broadcast and already haven't signed up for the free trading room, sign up so you guys could send us DMs or ask any of the moderators any questions over things that we've gone over today. We're all eager to help. Just want to remind you guys, and this is very important, that nothing we're mentioning in any of these broadcasts that we're doing every day is any type of solicitation. You guys, trade your own plans. We're just discussing ideas and things that we're seeing out there in the trading world. Read the full disclaimer below. That's why I have it up now, just so you guys have it and see it. And make sure you guys understand that, and trade safe, guys, please. Also, just want to, today I actually have quite a few things on my radar. I mean, I could rattle off 10, 15 names that are intriguing to me today. I'm going to cover a few of them for sure, but we're not trying to throw 20 things at you every day. Today's actually one of our longer lists. I think we have like 7 or 8 names, but we try to just pick out a few each and not inundate you, just get quality over quantity. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ricky, and then I'll be back with some of my names. And Ricky, why don't you get started and tell them what you're looking at?
Awesome, man. Thanks, Goose. Yeah, I actually only have 2 names myself this morning, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Goose. The first thing I'm looking at, guys, is VIRT, V-I-R-T. They were an earnings winner yesterday. They broke to all-time highs, and they closed not far off from them. And in my view, this can be played 1 of 2 ways, depending on how the overall market wants to behave, as well as how VIRT opens. If it wants to open down slightly, but hold this all-time high breakout level of just under 26, I think that it may set up for a nice second-day continuation play with Site 25 behind it. This company has some very large institutional ownership, so it trades a lot lighter than what you would expect from a larger OS. But you should also take into consideration that many of these holdings might be smart to take some profits up around these levels. They've been in since mid last year, a lot of them, so they're up huge on this move. That being said, the other way I think it could be played is if it were to get legs before the open and gap up, there's the possibility of catching a real nice reversal area on it. It was up over 8 times the ATR yesterday, so that's a huge move for them. The other factor to consider is that this is a tick pilot program stock, meaning it trades in 5-cent increments, which I absolutely hate. But if the stock sets up to where I can't ignore it, then I'm going to take a position. And a little trick I just wanted to show everybody that I use to normalize these 5-cent tickers sometimes is if you want, you can put a //5 and it adjusts your chart to show you what the move actually looks like if it was done on a 1-cent tick spread. Because sometimes these moves can look exaggerated since every single tick moves the stock 5 cents, right? But that's just a little fun pro tip for everybody. If you use TOS, you can do that. I'm not sure about other charting programs. But moving on, the next thing on my list, guys, is CBIO. And this company has had quite the run in the last 4 months, as you can see. They had data come out this morning from their phase 1/2 study of their second most important drug they're developing. They deal with hemophilia, and they're basically trying to see if subcutaneous injections would have a slower drop-off rate of the effect of the drug. But they only had 5 test subjects enrolled in this study, and they only ran the study for 6 days. And out of 5 patients, 1 of them had moderate adverse reactions. On top of that, the study was conducted by their partner in South Korea, and the Korean Ministry of Food and Drug Safety allowed them to skip cohort 4 and go straight to cohort 5. Cohort 4 was basically to see what would happen with high-dose single doses, and cohort 5 was for multi-dose at lower levels. And I'm not a scientist, and I probably can't speak with an expert opinion, but I do have to speculate whether that would be allowed if it was conducted in the US by the FDA. Then to make this story even better, Ladenburg came out this morning with a buy rating on them at a $47 price target. And guess who was their co-book runner on their last financing? That's right, Ladenburg. And I was just listening in on their conference call as well. And one of the people that came on to ask a question was Jones Trading. And guess who the other co-book runner was on their last financing? Bingo, Jones Trading. So they also even had two other toxic financiers asking questions on the call. And if you can even call them questions, they're more like underhand softball pitches. There was Life Science Cap, which was also involved in their last financing, and B. Riley was on the call. So you had the whole plethora of all these toxic financiers basically trying to pump this thing up. So you can make what you will of that, but they're all red flags for me. And from a technical perspective, this thing has had quite the move. You can see using the 20, let's just make this one big real fast, the 20-minute chart here, this thing had a real nice trend going, and it was looking like it was going to gap. And I wish I had read the data the second it came out, because I think I would have probably got some of these 30s, but I didn't. Probably should disclose that I do have a very tiny starter position right around 26, but I will be trading this from a technical perspective. It has broke this trend line now, and I think the data is pretty much garbage. You should be aware, though, that they do have data on their number one drug in the pipeline that comes out mid-2018. So there is the possibility that they will save this run somehow, but I think today could be a big red day. All right, that's enough from me, guys. I know Goose has a lot to talk about, so I'm going to pass it back over to him. Everybody trade smart and play it safe today, guys.
Thanks a lot, Ricky. Really appreciate it. And good job. That Thinkorswim thing's pretty cool. I've used that in the past, and it's a pretty neat tool. Thank you very much for that and sharing that, Ricky. I'm going to go real quick because I do have some names. I have quite a few names to go through, and I know I only have a few minutes of your time. So let me just jump right in. A couple of these are going to be reactive trades, but WB is the one I first have up there. WB has some phenomenal range in this name. And, what I'm looking at with the range is if the market does want to gear up, like it's, so far acting pretty well for an open and wants to hold any pulls, I love the range in this name. And I'll be looking at this from a long side. I think there's definitely some room. Obviously, we know where the 50-day is here. That's going to be, see how it does against this 115. It already looks like it's challenging in a little bit pre-market. But if I see a little bit of a pull in this and I feel like I have a level to trade off of and the market's staying strong, this is something I'm definitely going to look at for a long. I think there's plenty of range and for a pushback up towards 120. So this is a fun name. Understand that it's also a little bit gappy. Trade it accordingly if you guys like the name, but just understand how this specific name trades. If you haven't traded it in the past, it is a gappy name and has an incredible range. So don't get the way I'm going to trade it is not with really super tight stops, because you just keep getting stopped out and you could be right on the whole move, on the bigger picture of the move. Another one, SKX. Let me pull that up real quick. SKX. This is what I'm hoping for. You see this area right here. You guys that know me, we got the 50-day right there. Right now we're trading at 40 and it's already up a couple bucks, which is a bit of a bummer because this was definitely pretty high on my thing. But what I'm still hoping is if we could get a wash off this morning, one of those little imbalances or something, I will look to buy a dip on this SKX, especially if the market's staying strong. So I have this on my list. Looking for a little pull at the open or anything like that to give me a nice entry. And I like this coming off of the 50-day, still above the pivots, how it held the other day and got bought right back up for a pushback. But now we're already back up in this 40 level, so I'm just going to keep this quick. But if I do see a pull back down here, it's on my watch. So it's kind of grinding up as the market's getting a little stronger this morning. I want to talk about another one, ICHR. I think I might have talked about this a few times. I think this is overdone. I'm definitely looking at a long entry. I really like this idea. For a bounce play and a pushback up on the 25 area. Hasn't really done anything yet. I want to see how it acts, but you could see, let me pull us back a little bit more. This area right here should give it some sort of a little bit of support, but just a pull, I think, and obviously washing through with the market. I could very easily see this push back up, at least, 24 or so, maybe 25. So I think there's a really nice opportunity in ICHR. It's definitely on one of my top watches for entry and opportunity, especially trading off yesterday's lows, which if you take a quick glance, yesterday's lows were 21.33. So I'm not sure I'm going to get that cheap, but anywhere close to 22, if I could get a good entry on it, this is something I'm looking at. I'm going through these a little bit quick because I do have a couple more. AMD I'll talk about. Actually, let's jump over to ShutterFly and I'll finish with AMD. ShutterFly, we've talked about this name in the past. I think, Ricky did a good job covering it before. But this is really holding the $70 level, and I really am watching this. I talked about it a little this morning in our pre-market chat, and I could really, if this wants to hold and the market wants to turn, I think it's going to surprise some folks. I mean, the tape's telling us one thing. I know we had this watch, but that's okay. If this thing wants to flag and break up through 72, I think you're going to have a really quick move up to 74, 76. And I'm not telling you, that where it deserves to be from a fundamental standpoint. I'm talking to you what the tape's telling me right now. So just have that in mind with ShutterFly. You have really defined risk on this thing, using that 70 level it's been holding. And I really do like how it's been holding this level. And I could see a nice push. And I have a feeling it's coming either today or in the next couple days if it's going to do it. So I like ShutterFly as a long side. I talked a little bit about AMD this morning. I guess I, disclosed I'm already long a little bit. My pre-market, I was talking to the room about it. I'm long a little bit lower. But AMD, let me pull it up. I just, with this is a sympathy play to NVIDIA. What's going on? They came out with, all their numbers are already out. We've already had the pull and all this, kind of held this pivot area. It's already above the 50-day. When I'm not looking for this to test today, 1220, which you never know with the, the markets and stuff, but I'm looking for a push up in this, 1180 to 12 area this morning to kind of go along with the market, with NVIDIA, and see if we get a little shove in it. So I like it. My average is in the 30s, just so you guys know. So it started a little bit earlier. Doesn't mean that I don't think that's the opportunity is still not there on a pull. And I think the biggest thing I was talking about this morning is such defined risk. I mean, look at, 1090 area. I mean, if once to wash through 1090, I'm bailing. I mean, I'll be done. Trade's done for me. I'll revisit it. But I mean, that just shows me that, it's definitely a stuff and there's still, more stock to, come out on this name because you have a couple things lining up for it. I'm going to pretty much wrap it up, but I'll make one last comment to you is, I really feel that Twitter and Snap and those things, they really held in there yesterday. I was so surprised how strong they were in the market that we had. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what Twitter and Snap do at the open and see what they want to do also. But there's a lot on watch. I'll leave it with that. But trade the tape, guys. Don't trade what we think is overvalued right now. If the market wants to be strong today, join the trends on these things. Nothing has to come back a certain level. If it wants to keep going, let's let it go and ride onto it. Be real safe. It's Friday. Don't try to get, if you didn't make your month, your week, and have a great week this week, don't try to do it all on Friday. Still stick to your plan, stick to your size, be smart. Guys, this is a time with this market, preservation of capital. I'm going to turn it over to Ricky. I'm sure he's going to make a comment on that as well. But be very, very, very smart, guys, please. Okay, guys? Anyway, have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys on Monday and trade safe today. Ricky, over to you.
Thanks, buddy. And you couldn't be more correct to say how important the preservation of capital is. And it segues perfectly into this. Guys, I want everybody to join us on Monday during lull. I think we'll probably try to do it right around noon. I'm going to do a webinar on risk management, and it's not just for the premium room. We're going to do it for everyone because I can't overstate how important it is. I can't stand to see people losing money. I mean, if you come and you only make a little bit of money here and there, that's still so much better than taking big losses, guys. So I'm going to show you guys how I personally and how a lot of people that are really great traders I know use risk management to have longevity in this game. And that's the name of the game, guys. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. So that being said, everybody stay safe today. Plan your trades, trade your plan. If you have no plan, that means you have no trade. Let's get them, guys. Crush it. Peace.